Hi everyone, it's Natalia here again from the channel Consistencies NZ. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Frankenslug cookie, which is perfect for Halloween. What you will need for this project is some sugar cookies that have been cut out using a printed template. I will have a link in the description box below for you to create these templates, and all you need to do is print and cut the shape of Frankenslug using a sharp knife or an Exacto knife. I also cut out a few different sections of his body and eyes to make it easier to decorate the cookies, and I will show you this in the tutorial coming up. For this particular project, I'll be using a red and black edible paint. These are made from food coloring and 100% safe and edible. You'll also need a clean food safe brush to actually apply this edible paint into the cookie. And as usual, I'll be using an edible marker to mark guidelines on my cookies. These are food safe and created specifically for this kind of project. And a Scribe tool, which is a needle tool to smooth out my icing and help shape the icing around the cookies. Here are my royal icing that I have prepared earlier with the colors that you will need for this project. If you're looking for a royal icing and cookie recipe, I'll have a link in the description box below, so be sure to check it out. Okay, so let's get started on the decorating process. We'll start by using an edible marker to create guidelines using the little templates that I showed you earlier. Starts with the bottom of a body, his tail, and then the midsection of his body and mouth. Don't forget to add his teeth, followed by his head and the eyes. The guidelines will make it easier when it comes to putting the icing on the cookies later. And on some parts of it, it's easy enough to draw some lines manually after you mark the main guidelines using the templates. Okay, so we're going to start by using the red edible paint for his mouth and shake the bottle really well. Then use a brush to apply a small amount of red edible paint onto the mouth area. Then use a black edible paint for the small section of the mouth right next to his teeth. Then also apply it to the joints area on his body. Now let's start icing the cookie by outlining the bottom part of his body and tail with green outline consistency icing. Then fill them with medium consistency icing of the same color. Use a Scribe tool to smooth out and shape the icing. Then repeat the same steps for the midsection of his body using the same green color icing. By the way, if you want to know more about how to achieve different types of icing consistencies, I'll be putting a link in the description box below to my video tutorial, which might be helpful for some of you. Okay, so we continue to repeat the same steps for the top section of his body, and then pipe an outline consistency green icing to create the tentacles that connects to his eyes. Use the same outline consistency icing to create his eyelids, and fill only one section of the eyelid first, followed by the opposite side of his eyebrow, then let the icing cross over. Next, we fill the little section at the bottom of his body, and we didn't fill this section earlier with icing because we wanted to create a defined section at the bottom. Then continue to fill the remaining section of his eyelid and eyebrow, and then let the icing cross over. Next, we're going to create the bolt on the side of his body. Fill it with gray icing, and while the icing is still wet, add some light gray icing to create a shine on the bolt, and then let the icing cross over. Fill one eye with light gray icing, and while the icing is still wet, pipe a dot of black icing inside the eye. And fill one of his teeth with white icing. Use a Scribe tool to help shape the icing if needed. And we also need to add the end of the bolt to connect it to his body, and then let the icing dry. Repeat the same steps for the remaining sections of his eye and tooth, and let the icing cross over again. Now we need to pipe the stitches all around his body. Use the muddy green icing in outline consistency to pipe the stitches that connects his body. And lastly, use the green edible marker to create the look of a hole where the bolt is inserted to his body. So there you have it, a really cool looking Frankenslug. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you like it, you know the drill. Leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to Best Fiends for more awesome videos like this. And if you want to see more of my cookie tutorials, then head over to my channel at Consistencies NZ. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.